If you want to succeed at the highest level, you have to learn the way the top 1% does. It's not about working harder or hoping for luck to strike. It's about changing how you approach learning, growth, and success. The top 1% don't waste time. They don't get sidetracked by distractions. They stay focused, deliberate, and strategic. They take control of their minds, their actions, and their time. In this video, we're going to break down exactly how they do it and how you can start doing it today. You'll learn the habits, mindsets, and strategies that separate the most successful people from everyone else. It's not about being born with special talents. It's about mastering a few simple, powerful practices that put you ahead of the pack. This is practical advice, real strategies, and actionable insights that you can start using immediately. Whether you're trying to build a business, master a skill, or simply become a better version of yourself, the principles of the top 1% will help you get there. If you're ready to take your life to the next level, stay tuned, because what you're about to learn will change everything. Chapter 1. Wake up early and take full control today. Waking up early is not about following a trend. It's not about being part of some productivity cult or copying what successful people say they do. Waking up early is about claiming your life. It's about taking back control of the one thing that most people give away without even noticing their time. When you wake up early, you're not just getting a head start on the day. You're proving to yourself that your life belongs to you. Not to distractions, not to your doubts, not to the chaos around you, but to you. The moment you open your eyes before the world demands something from you, you've already made a powerful choice. You chose discipline over comfort. You chose clarity over noise. You chose to show up for yourself before anything else gets in the way. That choice sets the tone for everything that follows. It tells your mind that you are not going to let life just happen to you. You are going to direct it. You are going to shape it. You are going to build it one day at a time, starting right now. But waking up early isn't magic. It won't change your life unless you show up with intention. What matters is not just the time you get up, but what you do with that quiet space you've carved out. This is your moment to build yourself before the world tries to pull you in 1,000 directions. It's your space to think clearly, to reset your mind, and to begin your day with purpose. In those early hours, there are no expectations, no pressure, no noise, just you and the decision to live your life on your terms. It starts with getting serious about how you end your previous day. If you want to wake up early and be in control, you can't stay up late living without discipline. You can't ask your body to operate on less rest and still expect to lead with clarity. Sleep is not the enemy. The enemy is poor discipline the night before. People say they're night owls, but most of the time they're just caught in loops, scrolling, watching, distracting themselves from what they really need to face. Growth starts when you cut that off. When you say enough, when you decide to value the next morning more than the current comfort. Getting up early means you take your life seriously. It means your goals matter more than another hour of sleep. It means your mind is ready to work while others are still escaping. It's about urgency, not anxiety, but purpose. There is no shortcut to self-mastery. You train your mind by showing it that you are in control, not your mood, not your habits, not your feelings. When you wake up before the world, you give yourself a chance to breathe, to prepare, to own your focus before it's stolen by emails, tasks, or other people's problems. What do you do when you wake up early? You start with stillness. You give your mind a moment of silence before it's bombarded. You use that time to center yourself. You remind yourself of your goals. You write. You reflect. You read something that feeds your mind. You move your body. You hydrate. You do something to prove to yourself that you are awake, not just physically, but mentally. These small acts of discipline are how self-respect is built. You don't wait for motivation. You act because you made a promise to yourself. You said you would take control, so now you do. Some people struggle with consistency because they wake up early once and expect their whole life to change. That's not how it works. This is not a one-time act. It's a way of life. It's a commitment to living differently than most people. When you get up early every day, you start to notice your thoughts more clearly. You notice your habits. You see where your time is going. You feel when your energy is low and why. You become more aware of how you're living, and that awareness is what allows you to start changing. If you want to get better every single day, you can't live like everyone else. Most people wake up in reaction. Their alarm goes off and they hit snooze. They wake up late and start rushing. Their first thoughts are about stress, work, and what's missing. That's not control, that's chaos. That's letting the world dictate your rhythm. You need to be intentional. You need to be deliberate. You need to be ruthless about creating space for your own growth. And that starts with your mornings. Waking up early is one of the simplest yet most powerful habits you can build. It doesn't require money. It doesn't require special talent. It just requires commitment. It requires you to be honest about your priorities. What matters more to you? Your comfort or your growth? You answer that question every night when you choose whether to go to bed with purpose, and every morning when you decide whether to rise with discipline. You don't need a miracle morning routine. You need a real one that fits your life but still demands effort. You don't need 2 hours of yoga and journaling and cold plunges. You need a set of actions that sharpen your mind and bring you into the day with strength. Maybe that means 15 minutes of silence. Maybe it means reviewing your goals. Maybe it means doing push-ups. The point is not what you do, but that you do it with full presence. You are telling your mind, I'm here. I'm ready. I'm not drifting through life anymore. At first it will be hard. Your body will resist. Your mind will beg for more sleep. But every time you get up anyway, you train yourself to rise above your excuses. You teach yourself that your word means something. You stop breaking promises to yourself, and that builds trust. And when you trust yourself, you stop waiting for permission to grow. You stop waiting for the right time. You start taking full ownership of your life. Think about what kind of person wakes up early every day. Someone focused, someone grounded, someone who values their life enough to not waste time. You are becoming that person with every early morning. You're not chasing perfection. You're building consistency. You're creating an identity rooted in discipline. Not because it's trendy, or because someone told you to do it, but because you know who you're trying to become. And that version of you doesn't hit snooze on life. Don't wait to feel ready. If you only act when it's easy, you'll never grow. The discomfort of waking up early is temporary, but the strength it builds lasts. You become mentally tougher. You stop giving into laziness. You start thinking clearer, making better decisions, leading your life instead of reacting to it. It's not just about waking up early. It's about proving to yourself that you are in charge. There will be days you slip. That's normal. What matters is how fast you get back on track. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be persistent. Every day is a chance to start fresh, to show up, to rise early and own your time. This is how you build momentum. This is how you create change that lasts. Not with big declarations, but with small acts of discipline, repeated until they become who you are. Waking up early is not just about productivity. It's about power. It's about quiet strength. It's about honoring the time you've been given and using it to become better. Every morning, you are handed a blank page. What you write on that page is up to you. Will you write excuses or progress? Will you waste it or use it? That choice is yours, and you make it the moment your eyes open. Control your mornings, and you control your life. That's the truth. The earlier you rise, the more room you create to design the life you want. This is your time to think clearly, act intentionally, and build yourself into someone you respect. If you want to live with confidence, start by living with discipline. The kind of discipline that gets up when it's easier to sleep. The kind that prepares when others procrastinate. The kind that takes full control today, not someday. Your habits are shaping your future, whether you see it or not. And waking up early is one of the most powerful habits you can build. Not because it makes you special, but because it puts you in control. It gives you the power to decide how your day begins. And when you begin your day, with strength, focus, and intention, you carry that energy into everything else you do. You don't need to wake up at 4 a.m. You need to wake up early enough to be intentional with your time, enough to move at your own pace, enough to build momentum before the day throws distractions at you. Even 30 extra minutes can make a huge difference. Use them well. Use them to become who you said you'd be. Don't waste them scrolling or checking notifications. Use them to feed your mind, train your body, or reflect on where you're going. In time, this habit will change how you see yourself. You'll stop identifying with your past and start aligning with your future. You'll stop saying, "I wish," and start saying, "I do." You'll stop doubting your potential and start living with intention, all from one simple choice to wake up early and take full control today. This is the first step in building a life you don't need to escape from. This is the foundation of daily growth. This is how you separate yourself from the average, not with noise or talk, but with quiet action. Day by day, morning by morning, you earn your confidence by showing up. You build your power by starting early. You prove you're serious by doing what most people won't. Your life changes when you do. It starts now. Get up, take control, own your morning, and you will own your life. Chapter 2. Write your goals down and review them daily. You are losing your life one unfocused day at a time, and most people never even realize it until it's too late. That's the painful truth. The hours you waste in confusion, the dreams you put off because they're not written down, the goals you carry in your head but never act on, they are all silently stealing your future. But today, something changes, because now you're going to write your goals down. Not in your mind, not someday, now. And you're going to review them every single day until your life starts to match the clarity of your vision. People who drift through life without written goals live by default. They wake up and follow whatever the day throws at them: emails, noise, obligations, distractions. Then they collapse at night, feeling tired but not fulfilled, busy but not productive. But those who write down their goals live by design. They choose how they spend their energy. They move with direction. They know what they're working toward. Writing your goals is not a cute productivity trick. It's not a trend. It's a declaration of war against confusion, passivity, and regret. Think about this. You've already been given a mind capable of building a new life. You have the imagination to envision what could be, the will to pursue it, and the power to make it real. But without clarity, that power gets wasted. You have to aim. You have to define what matters. You have to commit it to paper, not just once, but every single day. Because if you don't see your goals, you forget them. If you don't remind yourself, you drift. And if you drift, you lose. The top 1% don't wake up and hope for a good day. They wake up with a mission. They know what needs to be done because they've written it. And they don't just write it once at the beginning of the year. They return to it daily. They refine it. They reconnect to it. They burn it into their identity. That's why they win. That's why they move faster, think clearer, and accomplish more in 1 year than most people do in 10. They aren't smarter, they're more intentional. And you can do exactly the same if you choose to. Writing your goals every day builds internal strength. You stop needing outside motivation. You stop waiting for permission. You become your own reminder. Every line you write down becomes a vote for the future you want. Every day you review those lines, you harden your focus. You sharpen your mind. You quiet the noise of the world and listen to the direction of your soul. The act is simple, but the effect is profound. And don't just write vague hopes. Don't write "be successful" or "get rich" or "get better." Be specific. What exactly does success look like? How much money? By when? Doing what? Where will you live? What will your body feel like? How will you spend your mornings? Who will you be surrounded by? Write with clarity, detail, and commitment. You're not writing a fantasy. You're writing blueprints for the life you're going to build with your bare hands. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they lack direction. They don't even know what they're aiming for, so they spin in circles, doing random work, chasing shallow rewards, stuck in cycles that drain their potential. Writing your goals stops that cycle. It forces you to decide what matters. It forces you to prioritize. And when you do that, you stop reacting to life and start shaping it. It's not about writing 100 things. It's about writing the right things. What do you want badly enough that you're willing to work for it every day? What matters so deeply that you're willing to say no to comfort and yes to discipline? Write that. Then write what you're going to do about it. Not someday. Today. Make your goals your orders. Give your life structure. Give your time purpose. Give your actions meaning. When you review your goals daily, they stay alive in your consciousness. You start to filter the world differently. You recognize opportunities faster. You say no to distractions with more strength. Your choices become strategic. You know what's urgent and what's not. You stop letting your emotions dictate your behavior because you've already decided what matters most. That daily review is the difference between a person who hopes and a person who builds. Hope is passive. It waits. But writing your goals daily is active. It commands. It decides. It executes. Every day you write them down, you become more aligned with the future you want. And over time that alignment turns into momentum. That momentum turns into results. And those results turn into transformation. People who master themselves don't rely on motivation. They create systems. And writing down your goals is one of the most powerful systems you can build. It keeps you anchored. It keeps your eyes on the target. It pulls you through fatigue, doubt, and fear. It's not flashy, but it's unstoppable. 1 day of writing won't change your life, but 1 year of it will make you unrecognizable. You don't need to figure it all out at once. Just start. Grab a notebook or a journal. Every morning, before the chaos of the day begins, write your goals, not on a screen. With your hand. Let your brain connect with your body. Let your vision move through you. Write what you want. Write what you're willing to give. Write how you'll act today. To move 1 inch closer. Then do it again tomorrow. And the next day. And the next. That repetition creates power. That clarity creates peace. Even on the days you don't feel like it, especially on those days, write your goals. It's in those low moments that the practice matters most, because anyone can write when they're motivated. But those who write when they're discouraged prove that their future matters more than their feelings. And that kind of consistency is rare. That kind of consistency wins. You'll notice something else happen when you do this. Your mind will begin to filter out the unnecessary. You won't crave approval as much. You won't seek random validation. You'll be too focused, too connected to your purpose. You won't be shaken by setbacks. You'll see them as feedback. You won't waste time. You'll guard it. You'll make better decisions. You'll stay aligned, because you've built a mind that's anchored in direction. If you've ever felt lost, confused or behind, don't search for complicated answers. Start with this. Write your goals down. Today, do it again tomorrow. And the next day, build that into your identity. Watch how it grounds you. Watch how it strengthens you. Watch how it begins to separate you from the crowd. Because the crowd moves without direction. They talk about their dreams, but never define them. They want change, but they don't build habits. They think goals are a one-time ritual, something you write in January and forget by February. But you're not going to be like them. You're going to become dangerous with clarity. You're going to wake up every day with direction pulsing through your veins. There will be days when you question everything. Days when progress feels slow. Days when doubt gets loud. But the habit of writing your goals will pull you back to truth. It will remind you why you started. It will reignite your hunger. It will stabilize you in the storm. It will turn a bad day into a focused day. And that's all you need. You don't need perfection. You need consistency. It's not magic. It's not complicated. It's not glamorous. But it works. Write your goals every day. Don't skip. Don't overthink. Don't wait for the right mood. Just write. And as you write, you'll think clearer. You'll act stronger. You'll live with purpose. That's the kind of person who builds greatness. That's the kind of person you're becoming. And when you stick to this, something else happens. You stop breaking promises to yourself. You start trusting yourself. You stop negotiating with laziness. You start defending your future. You stop playing small. You start thinking big, but acting daily. And slowly, powerfully, your life begins to shift. So write your goals. Then go act. Let today be the day your life moves from confusion to clarity, from reaction to creation, from waiting to building. And never forget this truth. Those who write their goals down and review them daily are the ones who take control of their destiny. Be one of them. Be relentless. Be specific. Be disciplined. And you will become unstoppable. Chapter 3. Build a morning routine that sharpens your focus. You're not tired, you're undisciplined. That's the truth most people avoid, but it's the truth that will set you free. You keep saying you're exhausted, unmotivated, burned out. But what you really are is out of alignment. You've let the world set your pace, instead of taking control of your own rhythm. And that rhythm, it starts the moment you wake up. You either take command of your mornings, or your mornings take command of you. The way you begin your day is the way you live your life, scattered or sharp, reactive or focused, lost or locked in. It's time to build a morning routine that doesn't just get you through the day, it sets you on fire. Look at the most powerful, productive and peaceful people you admire. They have one thing in common. They don't leave their mornings to chance. They don't hit snooze 12 times and wake up already behind. They don't scroll aimlessly, get up late, and let the anxiety of life punch them in the mouth before they even get out of bed. They know exactly what they're doing in those first few hours, and because of that, they win the rest of the day before the rest of the world even wakes up. You see, the battle for focus isn't won in the middle of the day, it's won before it even begins. It's won in the darkness, before the noise, before the notifications, before the distractions start knocking. And that's where most people lose, because they wait until life gets loud before trying to center themselves. That's like trying to build a house in the middle of a hurricane. It's too late. You don't center yourself in the storm. You prepare for the storm in the silence. And that silence, that's your morning. But here's the painful part. Most people waste it. They open their eyes and immediately open their phones. They trade their peace for panic, their clarity for chaos. Before they've even taken a breath, their mind is filled with everyone else's opinions, problems and noise. They haven't even stood up yet, and already they're off balance. That's not a routine. That's a recipe for emotional and mental exhaustion. You can't live on your terms when you start every day reacting to everyone else's. So what do you do instead? You build a morning routine that protects your mind, sharpens your focus, and aligns you with your highest self. And you don't do it randomly. You do it intentionally. Because this isn't about productivity hacks. It's about power. It's about creating a daily space that reminds you who you are and who you're becoming. You build rituals that tune your mind, your body, and your energy into your purpose. You make that time sacred. You start with silence. Before you look at anything, before you check anything, sit in stillness. Let your mind land. Let your thoughts settle. Breathe with intention. You're not just calming your mind, you're reclaiming your power. Because in a world addicted to speed, stillness is a superpower. And when you master it first thing in the morning, you become unshakable. Then you move. Not for aesthetic, not for social media, but to activate the intelligence in your body. Your body carries memory, energy, stress and strength. When you move it with intention in the morning, you unlock clarity. You wake up your system. You send a message to your brain that says, we're not hiding today, we're showing up. And while the world tells you to grind mindlessly, you take a different path. You write, not to impress anyone, not to be perfect, but to anchor your focus. Grab a pen, grab a journal, and empty your thoughts. Get clear. What are your intentions? What are your non-negotiables? What matters today, and what doesn't? When you write it, you see it. When you see it, you remember it. And when you remember it, you follow it. The people who write down their intentions in the morning don't wander through the day, hoping things go well. They create direction. They aren't chasing clarity at 2 p.m. because they found it before the sun came up. That's how you lead your life, with awareness, not impulse. With vision, not reaction. And maybe most importantly, you feed your mind, not with junk, not with empty content. You feed it with thoughts that strengthen you. Read something that builds you. Listen to something that sharpens you. Learn something that fuels you. That's how you develop the edge. That's how you rise above the average. You're not just waking up, you're rising up. Chapter 4. Eliminate one habit that weakens your progress. Every day you keep a habit that's quietly killing your momentum, and deep down, you know exactly which one it is. You don't talk about it. You don't post about it, but it's there, buried in your routine like a parasite, draining your progress, stealing your time, and sabotaging the person you're trying to become. And the longer you let it stay, the harder it becomes to move forward. You cannot climb with something constantly pulling you down. This is your moment to confront it. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, think about how hard you've worked. The books you've read, the advice you've followed, the plans you've made. You've got the vision. You've got the hunger. But somehow, you keep running in circles. You take 2 steps forward, and then something, always the same something, pulls you back. It's not your job. It's not other people. It's not bad luck. It's you. It's one small, consistent choice you keep making every day that holds back your potential. That one habit is your anchor. We often look at the big things, goals, systems, dreams, but it's usually the small, hidden habits that sabotage them. It could be the time you waste scrolling for hours when you promised yourself you'd read. It might be the excuses you make when you said you'd finally go to the gym. Maybe it's procrastinating on that one task that actually matters because it makes you uncomfortable, or always saying yes when you know it should be a no. And the worst part is, it doesn't feel destructive in the moment. That's what makes it so dangerous. It feels normal, comfortable, harmless, until months go by and nothing's changed. You tell yourself you'll stop eventually. But let's be honest, eventually is the graveyard where dreams go to die, because every time you delay, you reinforce the identity of someone who doesn't follow through. Every time you say, just one more time, you teach your mind that temporary relief is more valuable than long-term success. That habit is not just wasting your time, it's shaping your identity. And if you don't eliminate it, it will keep you stuck at the same level, no matter how much you want to grow. Here's what most people get wrong. They think adding more to their life will create change. More goals, more books, more routines. But the truth is, subtracting the wrong things is more powerful than adding the right ones. One destructive habit can override 10 positive ones. One crack in your discipline can collapse the whole foundation, and that's what you need to fix. Not everything, just one thing. The thing you know is slowing you down. So let's make this real. Choose one. Just one. One habit that you know is eating your time, draining your energy, or dulling your edge. You don't need to fix your entire life today, but you do need to eliminate the pattern that keeps you from leveling up. Ask yourself, what's the one habit that if I dropped it today, my life would start to accelerate? Maybe it's the habit of hitting snooze every morning. You tell yourself 5 more minutes, but that 5 minutes costs you clarity, confidence, and momentum. Maybe it's spending your nights mindlessly consuming content when you should be building, learning, or resting. Maybe it's constantly seeking approval, watering yourself down, playing small because you're afraid of judgment. Or maybe it's something even deeper, avoiding difficult conversations, lying to yourself about your effort, blaming other people instead of owning your results. Whatever it is, name it, face it, because you can't change what you won't confront. You've been giving that habit too much power, and it's time to take it back. This is not about guilt or shame. This is about ownership. You don't eliminate a habit because you're weak. You eliminate it because you're strong enough to choose better, strong enough to evolve, strong enough to say, this is not who I am anymore. It won't be easy. Habits don't die quietly. They resist. They whisper to you. They'll try to convince you that you need them, that they're harmless, that you've earned them, that just one more time won't hurt. But that's a lie. One more time becomes 10 more times, and 10 more becomes another month wasted, another year stuck, another version of you that never got built. You have to be ruthless. You have to be willing to go through withdrawal, not just physically but mentally. Your mind will crave the comfort, but you'll need to remind yourself, comfort is not the goal. Growth is, and growth always demands sacrifice. You can't build a new identity while clinging to old habits. You have to decide which one you want more, the habit that numbs your discomfort or the discipline that builds your future. And here's what happens when you finally cut that habit. You create space, space for clarity, space for energy, space for something better to grow. Because every destructive habit you eliminate creates room for a better one to take its place. Remove distraction, and focus appears. Remove excuses, and execution begins. Remove comfort, and confidence rises. It's not just about removing pain, it's about unlocking power. You'll start showing up differently, with sharper focus, with deeper conviction, with a sense of control that you forgot you even had, because nothing builds confidence like keeping promises to yourself. And when you eliminate the habit that's been breaking those promises, you stop betraying your future. Think about how that feels. Waking up without the weight of guilt, going to bed proud of your choices, looking in the mirror and finally seeing someone who honors their word. That's what you're chasing. Not perfection, but integrity. The habit you're eliminating is not just a behavior, it's a barrier between you and your highest self. And maybe you've tried before and failed. That's okay. You're not weak. You just didn't fully commit. You still had the back door open. You still gave yourself an escape route. But this time, close it. Burn the bridge. Make the decision final. No turning back. No halfway. You eliminate it completely. Not eventually, not gradually, but now. Because here's the truth. Until you cut off what's holding you back, you'll never see what you're truly capable of. That's why this moment matters. That's why this habit must die. It's not just about improvement, it's about identity. Who are you when no one's watching? Who are you when it's just you and your decisions? You don't build greatness by stacking more habits. You build it by removing what doesn't belong. You don't need more to become more. You need less of what weakens you. You need to cut the dead weight, the distractions, the comfortable lies, and that requires courage. But the best part, once you remove that one habit, everything changes. You don't just feel lighter. You move faster. Your mind sharpens. Your energy shifts. You gain time, clarity, focus. The things that used to seem impossible start to feel within reach. Because the friction is gone. The resistance is gone. You've cleared the runway. And that's when progress begins. Real progress. The kind that compounds. The kind that transforms you. Not because you added more, but because you had the courage to let go of less. So today, make the decision. Identify the one habit that's keeping you average. Name it. Face it. Remove it. Don't negotiate. Don't justify. Don't delay. You are not here to stay stuck. You are not here to repeat the same cycle for the next decade. You are here to grow, to rise, to evolve. Kill the habit that's killing your momentum. Not tomorrow. Now. And once you do, don't look back. Because what's waiting for you on the other side is everything you've been chasing. Discipline, focus, confidence, freedom, That's the reward for letting go. This is your moment. Choose the stronger path. Choose to subtract. Choose to eliminate the habit that weakens your progress, and watch your entire life accelerate. Now go. Make the cut. Reclaim your power, and never look back. Chapter 5. Read something useful and apply it right away. One idea, just one, can completely change your life, but only if you have the courage to use it immediately. Think about it. You scroll past dozens of quotes every day. You hear podcasts. You watch videos. You read books filled with wisdom. But how much of it actually stays with you? How much of it actually reshapes the way you move, the way you think, the way you live? We've become addicted to knowledge, but allergic to action. Everyone is busy consuming, but no one is applying. And that's the trap. That's the reason so many people feel stuck, overwhelmed and unfulfilled, despite being surrounded by more information than any generation in history. The secret is not just to read. The secret is to use what you read. That's where transformation begins. The magic doesn't happen in the pages. It happens in what you do after you close the book. Because truth that's not acted on is just wasted potential. It becomes another missed opportunity. Another step you could have taken, but didn't. You don't need more time. You don't need more resources. You need to stop reading passively and start reading with urgency. Like your future depends on it. Because it does. Every day your mind is shaped by the words you feed it. And if those words spark an insight, but you don't use them, you lose them. The idea fades. The lesson dies, and the chance to become someone greater slips through your fingers, again. But imagine this instead. You read a single page, a paragraph, a line that hits you like lightning. And instead of thinking, that was good, and moving on, you act. You pause everything, and you apply that idea immediately. You let it interrupt your pattern. You let it shake up your comfort zone. That's how people evolve, not by learning everything, but by acting on one thing. The world doesn't reward what you know. It rewards what you do with what you know. It rewards execution, not just information. There are people far less knowledgeable than you who are living the life you want, because they act on what they learn. They don't wait until they feel ready. They don't obsess over the perfect plan. They read something powerful and they put it into motion the same day. That's how you build momentum. Not by waiting to master everything, but by practicing one principle at a time. When you read something useful, your first thought shouldn't be, "That's interesting." It should be, "Where can I use this right now?" Your mind should scan your life, your habits, your decisions, and find the exact place to apply that wisdom before it fades. Application creates results. Results build belief. Belief creates consistency, and consistency creates mastery. But the whole chain starts with applying what you just learned. Without that first step, everything else collapses. Without that spark of action, nothing changes. You don't have to read an entire book to change. Sometimes one sentence, when used immediately, can be more powerful than 100 unread pages. But if you keep consuming without applying, you're just tricking yourself into thinking you're growing. You're filling your mind but not feeding your life. That's mental hoarding. And hoarding never builds strength. Let's make this personal. When was the last time you read something that hit you? A truth that punched through your excuses? A line that called you out? What did you do with it? Did you let it sit in your notes, waiting for the right time? Or did you use it to make a shift right then and there? It's not enough to be inspired. You need to be interrupted. You need to be so moved by what you read that you can't go back to living the same way. That's the difference between readers who grow and readers who stay the same. Growth demands action, not just attention. The goal isn't to finish the book. The goal is to become a different person because of it. The goal isn't to highlight the whole page. It's to change the way you live your day. If you can't apply what you read within 24 hours, you'll forget it. That's how fast the human brain moves on. That's why urgency matters. That's why you have to turn knowledge into action instantly. Every time you read something useful and do nothing, you weaken your discipline. You train yourself to be passive. You teach your mind that good ideas are entertainment, not tools for transformation. And eventually you become numb. You can read the most powerful truths in the world and feel nothing, because you've built the habit of ignoring them. But you can reverse that today. Right now, the next time you read something that speaks to you, stop. Don't scroll. Don't move on. Don't say later. Instead, ask, how can I use this now? What conversation do I need to have? What action can I take? What thought pattern can I interrupt? Don't wait until the timing is perfect. Just move. Even a small step, done immediately, plants the seed for massive growth. You don't have to wait for motivation. The action will create the motivation. Once you apply an idea and see the shift it creates, your brain starts craving more. It begins to connect learning with results, and that changes your entire relationship with growth. You stop learning out of obligation and start learning out of hunger. You start showing up differently. You're no longer just the person who listens and nods. You're the person who lives it. That's rare. That's powerful. That's the kind of person who rises because they turn information into transformation. Not someday, not when it's safe. Now, and here's the beautiful part, you don't need to wait for a major breakthrough. Sometimes the smallest insights, applied immediately, can create the biggest shifts. A reminder to stop complaining, a challenge to take full ownership, a prompt to start your day with clarity, a strategy to control your emotions. These aren't just ideas. They're doorways, but only if you walk through them. Every great transformation begins with a decision to act on something small, and every regret comes from ignoring the moment you were supposed to move. You don't need a bigger vision. You need to make use of the wisdom already in front of you. One idea, one decision, one action. So here's your challenge. The next time you read something that stirs something in you, don't scroll past it. Don't save it for later. Don't just screenshot it and forget it. Use it. Apply it to your life the same day. Let it impact your relationships, your discipline, your focus, your mindset. That's how you grow, by practicing, not by pondering. It's not what you know. It's what you do with what you know that changes your life. Don't let another day go by collecting information like a museum. Become a lab. Experiment. Apply. Adjust. Live the lessons you learn. Read with purpose. Move with urgency. Grow with action. You're not here to be a library. You're here to be a force. A person who lives by principle, not by preference, who acts on wisdom instead of just admiring it. That's how you win. That's how you change. That's how you become unrecognizable. In the best way. So the next time you read something useful, apply it right away. No delay. No excuses. Let that idea reshape your decisions, your habits, your mindset. That's the real secret of personal growth. Speed of implementation. The faster you apply, the faster you evolve. And if you're waiting for a sign, this is it. Don't just collect knowledge. Activate it. Embody it. Live it. The future you want is on the other side of the idea you choose to apply right now. Go make it real. Chapter 6. Push your body to get stronger every day. Most people will never realize how powerful they truly are because they never push their body hard enough to feel it. They live their entire lives within the narrow comfort zone of physical convenience, avoiding effort, avoiding discomfort, avoiding anything that requires them to dig deep. But that's not where strength lives. That's not where power is born. The truth is, your body holds a level of strength and resilience you've barely even touched. And the only way to find it is to push. Not once, not when it's easy, but every single day regardless of how you feel, because your body is your foundation. It carries your dreams, your discipline, your energy, your emotions. If you neglect your body, you weaken your entire life. If your body is fragile, your will becomes fragile. If your body is tired, your vision becomes blurry. You can't focus, you can't lead, you can't rise, because the machine driving everything is breaking down from lack of use. Not overuse, lack of use. And that's the modern problem. We're overstimulated, but undertrained. We scroll endlessly, but we never sprint. We complain about stress, but never challenge ourselves enough to build real resilience. We want confidence, but avoid the physical struggle that forges it. Confidence doesn't come from fake positivity. It comes from knowing you can endure, because you've already been through the pain, and you didn't break. There is something primal and deeply transformative that happens when you push your body beyond its current limits. It wakes you up. It silences the noise. It forces your mind to stop making excuses and start finding reasons. Every drop of sweat, every extra rep, every mile beyond your usual pace, those moments carve something into your character that nothing else can. And it's not about becoming some athlete. It's about becoming someone who refuses to stay weak. Strength is not genetic. Strength is earned. One decision at a time, one workout at a time, one morning when you don't feel like it, but show up anyway. That's how you build something unshakable within you. Not by doing what's comfortable, but by confronting what's difficult and choosing to do it anyway. Most people never get to experience the pride of pushing through pain. They never feel that quiet roar of triumph after finishing a workout their mind told them they couldn't do. They live soft lives. They breathe shallow. They think weak. And it's not because they're incapable, it's because they never developed the habit of proving themselves wrong. Your body responds to pressure. It gets stronger through resistance, not by avoiding it, not by babying it, but by leaning into it. Every time you push your limits, your body adapts. Every time you demand more, it finds a way to give more. It's not your genetics holding you back. It's your habits, your daily choices, your tolerance for struggle. And the good news, that's all in your control. Stop waiting for motivation to train. Motivation is fleeting. Discipline is the real engine. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. Discipline doesn't care about your excuses. Discipline gets up and moves, because it knows that strength is built in the repetition, not the mood. Every time you honor the commitment to push your body, you reinforce the identity of someone who refuses to stay the same. And you don't need hours. You don't need perfection. You need intention and effort. You need to sweat with purpose. You need to face the part of you that wants to quit and keep going. That's where the growth lives. That's where self-respect is forged. You earn it in the last few reps. In the moments when your lungs are burning, your legs are shaking, and everything in your mind screams stop, but you move anyway. That's not just physical training, that's mental warfare. And when you win there, you win everywhere. Most of the time, your biggest breakthroughs will happen after the point where you wanted to stop. But you'll never know that unless you push, unless you keep going when it gets uncomfortable. Your limits are lies, they're guesses. They're boundaries set by a version of you who didn't yet know what you were capable of. And every time you push past them, you redefine who you are. You don't train to look good. You train to become unbreakable. You train to become disciplined. You train to build a body that supports the life you want. A body that can carry stress without breaking. A body that can endure long days, build businesses, raise a family, chase a dream. You train to build the armor around your soul, because life will hit you hard. And you need a body that can absorb the blow and keep going. People think physical training is optional, but it's the foundation of everything. If your body is weak, your energy is low. If your energy is low, your discipline fades. If your discipline fades, your results collapse. And it all starts because you didn't take care of your machine. So start small, but start today. If you've been sedentary, go for a walk. If you've been walking, start running. If you've been lifting casually, turn up the intensity. Add one more set. Go 5 more minutes. Push when it hurts, and do it daily. Because strength is a daily decision. It's not built in inspiration. It's built in repetition, in sweat, in struggle, in the daily fight to become just a little bit stronger than you were yesterday. And here's the truth. No one's coming to do this for you. No one's going to push your body for you. No one's going to hold you accountable the way you can hold yourself. It has to come from you, from your desire to stop being average, from your refusal to accept the version of yourself that you've outgrown, from the fire inside you that whispers, you were meant for more. The most powerful people you know didn't start that way. They built themselves, one hard session at a time, one disciplined morning at a time. They said no to comfort. They said yes to pain. Not because they enjoyed it, but because they knew what was on the other side of it. Freedom, power, clarity, and strength that no one could take away from them. Your future self is watching you. 10 years from now, the version of you who either feels strong, alive, and focused, or sluggish, weak, and frustrated, is being shaped by what you do today. Right now, this choice, this workout, this moment. You're building something, or you're breaking something, but you're never standing still. Don't wait for New Year's. Don't wait for Monday. Don't wait for the perfect plan. Pick one hard thing. Do it, then do it again tomorrow. Then again the day after that. Stack the pain, stack the reps, stack the wins. You'll be amazed at who you become, not just in your body, but in your spirit. You'll walk differently, think differently, speak with more conviction, not because you learned something new, but because you became someone new, through effort, through sweat, through the daily decision to show up, even when it's inconvenient. This is your invitation to rise, not to compete with anyone else, but to compete with your own weakness, to silence the voice that says not today, to replace hesitation with action, to train with purpose, to move with intention, to treat your body like the engine of your dreams, not the prison of your fears. Push your body to get stronger every day, not for vanity, not for likes, but for your life, for your legacy, for the people who look up to you, for the vision you carry, for the battles you haven't even faced yet, but will need the strength to win. And if you ever forget why you started, remember this: the pain of discipline will never compare to the pain of regret. One builds you, The other breaks you. Choose your pain wisely. Now move, push, sweat, strain, breathe, grind, and come back tomorrow, stronger. Because strength isn't something you're born with. Strength is something you earn, every single day. Chapter 7. Track your progress and stay honest with yourself. Every day you don't track your progress is another day you risk lying to yourself without even knowing it. The truth is, most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they never take full responsibility for their direction. They operate on hope, on assumption, on vague feelings. They say things like, "I think I'm doing okay," or "I feel like I've made progress," but they can't prove it. They can't point to the numbers. They can't point to the facts. And in that gap between what they believe and what's real, dreams die, progress fades, confidence disappears. Because what you don't track, you can't improve. And what you refuse to be honest about, you will never fix. Every serious transformation starts with brutal self-honesty, not self-hatred, not self-punishment, but the kind of honesty that rips through your excuses and forces you to face where you really are, not where you pretend to be. And most people are too afraid to do that. They'd rather live in the illusion of progress than the responsibility of truth. But illusion doesn't build anything. Only truth builds. And that truth begins the moment you start tracking. When you write things down. When you measure. When you document your actions instead of assuming your intentions. When you take inventory of your days, your efforts, your habits. When you stop hoping and start auditing. That's when the game changes. That's when progress becomes real, not emotional. You can't manage what you don't measure. And you can't evolve what you don't understand. That's why the highest performers in every field track everything. Athletes track their training. Entrepreneurs track their revenue. Writers track their words. Anyone who's building something valuable knows they need feedback, not just feelings. They need data, not just desire. And the only way to get that is to track. When you track your habits, your actions, your progress, you create clarity. You can see exactly what's working and what's not. You stop guessing. You stop overestimating your efforts. You see the real gap between where you are and where you want to be. And yes, it's uncomfortable, but that discomfort is where growth lives. That discomfort is the fire that burns through complacency and builds momentum. The problem is, most people avoid tracking because they're afraid of what they'll see. They don't want to face the numbers. They don't want to confront the days they skipped. They don't want to see that they've been busy, but not productive. They fear the truth because they tie their worth to perfection. But the real ones, the ones who grow, they know the truth is a tool, not a punishment. And the moment you start seeing the numbers, the patterns, the behavior, you take your power back. You stop relying on memory, which is often distorted by emotion. You stop telling yourself you're disciplined when the data shows inconsistency. You stop lying to yourself about why you're not getting results. Because the facts don't lie. Every time you track something, your workouts, your meals, your hours of focused work, your spending, your sleep, you shine a light on your habits. And what's seen can be improved. What's exposed can be refined. You can course correct. You can make smarter decisions. You stop being reactive and start being strategic. The real gift of tracking isn't the numbers. It's the awareness. It's the way it forces you to become conscious of your choices. When you know you'll have to write it down, you think twice. You don't scroll for an hour because you don't want to log that. You don't skip the gym because you don't want to break the streak. You don't waste your morning because the tracker is watching. Not to shame you, but to keep you aligned with who you said you want to become. Tracking is accountability with yourself. It's a mirror you can't lie to. It's a system that keeps you grounded in reality. And if you do it consistently, it starts to become a ritual, a part of your daily structure, something you rely on to stay focused, intentional, and honest. And honesty is everything. Because when you lie to others, you damage trust. But when you lie to yourself, you destroy your life. You lower your standard. You build a false reality that can't support your goals. And the longer you live in that falsehood, the harder it becomes to break free. If you want to get serious about progress, you have to be ruthless with the truth. You have to be willing to look at the numbers and say, I'm not doing enough. You have to be willing to look at your calendar and admit, I wasted time. You have to be willing to look at your habits and say, this isn't helping me grow. That's how change begins. Not with motivation, with honesty. And that honesty doesn't have to be harsh. It can be empowering, because once you know where you are, you can move with purpose. Once you know what's broken, you can fix it. Once you know what works, you can double down. But you don't get any of that without the discipline of tracking. Imagine if you tracked your progress every single day for the next 12 months. Your habits, your routines, your effort, your results. Imagine how much clarity you'd have. Imagine how much stronger your self-awareness would become. Imagine how much faster you could improve, because you're not guessing. You're not spinning your wheels. You're watching the data evolve and adjusting in real time. Now imagine the opposite. A year of vague goals. A year of I think I'm doing okay. A year of hoping without measuring. A year of emotion without facts. You might feel productive, but you'll never know for sure. And that's where most people stay, in the emotional fog of false progress. They feel busy, but they're not moving forward. They feel motivated, but they're not getting results. And they wonder why nothing changes. But you're not most people. You're not here to play small. You're not here to live blind. You're here to grow. You're here to evolve. You're here to become a better version of yourself. And that starts with tracking. Not for validation, but for evolution. So start today. Create a simple system, a notebook, a spreadsheet, a habit tracker. It doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be consistent. Pick a few things that matter and start logging. Daily, with discipline, track your effort, track your execution, track your behavior. Don't wait until it's perfect. Just begin and watch what happens. Watch how fast your awareness sharpens. Watch how quickly your excuses fade. Watch how clearly you begin to see the truth, and how that truth sets you free. Not because it's easy, but because it's real. And that's what real growth demands. Reality, honesty, precision. You can't hit a target you don't define. You can't win a game you don't score. You can't master your life without measuring your behavior. And in the end, this is about self-respect. Because people who respect themselves don't operate on guesswork. They don't drift. They don't hope. They execute. They reflect. They track. And they grow. Not in a straight line, but in a visible, measurable, undeniable way. So if you're tired of feeling stuck, start tracking. If you're ready to level up, start tracking. If you're serious about becoming the person you were born to be, start tracking. It's not glamorous. It's not exciting. But it works. Every single time. You have the power to change your life. But only if you stop lying to yourself. Only if you face the numbers. Only if you build the courage to look at where you are and take full responsibility for getting where you want to go. Track your progress, stay honest, and watch how quickly your entire world transforms. You'll start building with intention. You'll start moving with confidence. You'll start living with clarity. And in time you'll become the kind of person who doesn't just dream but delivers. Start today. The numbers are waiting. The truth is calling. And your future is watching. What will you do next? Chapter 8. Speak positively and clearly to your own mind. The way you speak to yourself becomes the script your life follows. So if your inner voice is unclear, harsh, or negative, your path will reflect that chaos. Most people never realize that the most powerful voice they'll ever hear is their own. Not the voice you use with others. Not the voice you post online. The one you use in silence. When no one is watching, when you're alone with your thoughts, and the world gets quiet. That voice either builds you up, or it slowly tears you down. And here's the brutal truth. If your inner dialogue is filled with doubt, confusion, guilt, or blame, you'll never build the life you dream of. You'll sabotage it before it even begins. Not because you're not capable, but because the mind obeys whatever message it hears most often. And if you constantly feed it criticism, fear, or failure-based thoughts, that becomes your identity. And identity drives action. This is why you can do all the right things, read books, set goals, work hard, and still feel stuck. Because you're building a future with a voice from your past. A voice that was shaped by fear, by trauma, by other people's limitations. And until you challenge it, until you replace it, until you rewrite it, you'll always feel like something's pulling you backward. That something is your inner voice. And if it's not aligned with your purpose, it will fight your progress. Your mind is always listening. Every word you say, every phrase you repeat, becomes part of your subconscious code. And that code either empowers you or imprisons you. That's why clarity and positivity in self-talk aren't luxuries. They're survival tools. They're the difference between self-leadership and self-destruction. You've been conditioned to think that toughness means being hard on yourself. That growth comes from criticism. That change requires self-punishment. But that's a lie. Real growth comes from belief, from intention, from reminding yourself who you are and where you're going every single day with precision and conviction. You can't afford to speak vaguely to your mind. You can't afford to be unclear. You can't afford to feed your thoughts with uncertainty. Because the mind doesn't respond to confusion, it responds to clarity. And clarity begins with language, with the words you use, with the affirmations you choose, with the stories you repeat. Think about it. When something goes wrong, what's your first thought? Is it "I knew I'd mess this up"? Or is it "this is a lesson, I'll use this to grow"? That moment defines your momentum, because that thought becomes a belief. That belief shapes your behavior, and your behavior becomes your future. You've got to talk to yourself like your life depends on it, because it does. You've got to speak with conviction, with compassion, with certainty, not fake positivity, not empty hype, real grounded self-talk that pushes you forward. That reminds you of your strength. That gives your mind a reason to keep moving, even when it's tired. Tell yourself the truth, but say it with hope. Yes, you've made mistakes, but that doesn't mean you're a failure. Yes, you've got work to do, but that doesn't mean you're not worthy of success. Yes, it's hard, but you're still here. You're still breathing. You're still fighting. And that's enough to keep going. Train your mind to hear empowering thoughts on autopilot. Make positivity your baseline, not because life is perfect, but because you've made a choice. A choice to lead yourself forward, no matter what. A choice to stop waiting for someone else to believe in you and start doing it yourself. Imagine waking up and telling yourself exactly what you need to hear, not by accident, but by design. Imagine looking in the mirror and seeing a person who speaks life into their own spirit every single day, not with arrogance but with certainty. That kind of mindset doesn't happen by chance. It's built, repetition by repetition, word by word. And you don't need to scream affirmations in the mirror to do it. You just need to be intentional. Speak with purpose. Replace phrases like "I can't" with "I'm learning how." Swap "I'm not good enough" for "I'm growing stronger." Change "What if I fail" to "What if I succeed." These shifts might seem small, but they're not. They rewire your perception. They reshape your emotions. They rebuild your internal narrative. And that's where all real transformation begins. You are with yourself 24 hours a day, and if that voice inside your head is your enemy, you're at war all day long. No external battle will ever matter as much as that one. No challenge you face in the world will ever be as important as the conversation you have with yourself. Because that conversation determines how you show up, how you fight, how you recover, how you rise. This is not about pretending things are okay when they're not. It's not about lying to yourself. It's about choosing to focus your energy where it matters. It's about seeing challenges as training, not punishment. It's about knowing that your words are seeds, and what you plant is what you'll eventually live in. You have to become your own guide, your own motivator, your own anchor, because nobody is coming to rewrite your story for you. That job belongs to you, and it starts with how you speak to yourself. So slow down, listen to your thoughts. Observe the words you use. Are they building you or breaking you? Are they rooted in faith or in fear? Are they pushing you forward or keeping you small? Most people speak more positively to strangers than they do to themselves. They give encouragement to others, but shame to their own soul, and that's backwards. You need to pour into yourself first, not selfishly, but strategically. Because if your mind is broken, your life will be too. Start small. Catch the negative self-talk when it shows up. Don't fight it, replace it. When you hear "I can't handle this," shift to "I've handled hard things before, and I'll do it again." When you hear "I'm not ready," say "I'm preparing." When you hear "I'll never get there," say "I'm making progress every day." This isn't about toxic positivity. This is about survival. This is about discipline. It's about mental architecture. You're building a mind that can support your dreams instead of destroying them. That's not hype. That's maturity. The future belongs to those who lead their inner world, not just the talented, not just the lucky, but the disciplined, the intentional, the people who refuse to let their mind wander in fear, who take command of their thoughts and reshape their reality from the inside out. You are not your negative thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. You are not your doubts. You are the one strong enough to replace them. You are not your old stories. You are the author of your next chapter. Speak to yourself like that. Speak to yourself like you matter, because you do. And if you don't believe it yet, start anyway. Because the words you speak today are the beliefs you'll hold tomorrow. The beliefs you hold tomorrow are the actions you'll take the next day. And those actions will determine the life you live. So don't wait until you feel confident. Start now. Speak now. Shift your language now. Your mind is listening, and it's time to feed it a better message. A message of strength, of direction, of self-respect. Because if you want the world to respect you, it starts with how you respect yourself, and that respect begins with words. Clear, powerful, focused words. Say what needs to be said. Remind yourself who you are. Anchor your identity in courage. Speak your vision with clarity. And let your mind rise to meet the standard you set with your voice. The world might try to bring you down, but your inner voice should always lift you back up. Let it be your weapon. Let it be your guide. Let it be your power, and use it daily to become unstoppable. Now go. Speak like you mean it. Think like you believe it. Live like it's already yours. Because the way you speak to yourself is the way you shape your world. And that world is waiting for you to lead. Chapter 9. Face one fear and take action through it. The greatest fear you will ever face isn't the world outside of you, it's the one inside of you. The one that tells you you're not good enough, that you can't do it, that you're not worthy. That's the real battle. And it's one you can win. Fear isn't just a feeling, it's a barrier, an illusion designed to keep you from reaching the place where growth happens, where your true potential lies. Every single person you admire, every person you look at and think, I wish I could be like them, or they have it all together, has faced their own version of fear. They've been scared. They've felt doubt. They've questioned their ability to succeed. But what they did differently was act in spite of it. Fear is not the problem. The problem is how you react to fear. You have two choices. When fear shows up, you can run from it, or you can face it. Every time you run, you reinforce the belief that fear controls you. Every time you choose to act through it, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than your fear. Fear is not something to avoid. It's something to move through. And the only way to move through it is to act. Action is the antidote to fear. You can sit and worry. You can overthink and prepare all you want, but until you take action, fear will always have the upper hand. The first step to overcoming fear is realizing that it's not as powerful as it seems. Fear thrives on uncertainty. It convinces you that something is going to go wrong, that the worst-case scenario will play out. But the reality is, most of what we fear never actually happens. And the things that do happen, well, we find a way to deal with them. It's like stepping into a dark room. The fear is loud and intense when you can't see anything. But the moment you turn on the light, you realize there was nothing there at all. Fear is a shadow. It only has power in the dark. When you face your fears, you take away that power. You expose it for what it truly is, a mental construct, a reflection of your doubts. And once you do that, it stops being something that controls you and becomes something you can conquer. Every moment of fear is an opportunity to show up as a stronger version of yourself. It's a chance to build your resilience. It's a test, yes, but it's a test designed for your growth, not your failure. And every time you face that fear, every time you step up and take action in spite of it, you expand your comfort zone. You teach yourself that you are capable of handling whatever life throws at you. You prove that no matter how much fear tries to hold you back, you can still move forward. Let's say you're afraid of rejection. Maybe you've been avoiding putting yourself out there because you're terrified of someone saying no. But let me ask you this. What's the alternative to stay stuck, paralyzed by the fear of what might happen? Or to face the fear, go for it, and discover that rejection isn't the end, It's just a part of the journey. The moment you act through your fear, you take control. You stop letting fear dictate your choices. You stop allowing it to make decisions for you. And this is where the real shift happens, when you realize that the fear isn't what's dangerous, it's the inaction, it's the letting it control you, the waiting for the perfect moment, the endless planning and hesitating that never leads to anything. The real danger is not facing your fear at all. When you act in the face of fear, you don't just build courage, you build character. You begin to trust yourself. You start to develop a quiet confidence, one that comes from knowing that you are capable of doing hard things. You begin to prove to yourself, not just once, but over and over again, that you can survive discomfort. You can survive doubt. You can survive failure. Because failure isn't the end of the road. It's part of the process. It's the feedback you need to improve, to grow, to do it better the next time. Imagine this. You're standing on the edge of something you've always wanted to do, but fear is holding you back. It's whispering all the reasons why you shouldn't move forward. But what if, just for a moment, you chose to ignore that voice? What if you took one small step anyway? What if that step didn't lead to perfection, but it led to progress? Taking action through fear isn't about eliminating the fear, it's about doing it anyway. It's about taking the first step, even when you're not sure of the outcome. It's about deciding that your future is more important than the temporary discomfort fear causes. Every step you take is a victory. Every step you take is evidence that you are growing. And the more you do it, the more you realize that fear never actually gets easier, it just becomes irrelevant. It loses its power over you because you've learned to take action despite it. And here's the best part. The more you face your fears, the more you begin to understand them. You start to see them for what they are, just thoughts, just projections, just old beliefs, trying to hold you back. You start to realize that these fears are not you. They are not the truth of who you are. And the more you act through them, the more you see that you can do it. You can handle the discomfort. You can handle the unknown. You can handle whatever life throws at you, because you've trained yourself to show up anyway. But that's the key. You've got to keep showing up. You've got to keep moving forward. You've got to keep acting. Even when fear tries to convince you to stop. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to be willing to act in the presence of fear. You need to develop the courage to move forward, even if it's one small step at a time. And over time, you'll look back and realize that the things you used to fear no longer have a hold on you. You'll realize that you've become stronger, braver, and more capable than you ever thought possible. It all starts with facing one fear. Just one. Just one thing you've been avoiding. Just one challenge you've been running from. Just one situation that's been keeping you stuck. If you can face that fear and take action, it will change everything. You'll look back at that moment and see it as the turning point in your life. Because it's not the fear that limits you, it's your unwillingness to face it. And once you step into that fear, you'll realize it never had the power to stop you. So take that step. Right now. Even if it's a small one. Do the thing that scares you, and watch as you become someone who is unstoppable. Chapter 10. Cut distractions and stay locked on your purpose. You've been distracted for far too long. It's time to cut through the noise and get focused, because nothing will change in your life until you do. You're constantly bombarded by a million different things, each pulling your attention in a different direction. But here's the hard truth. You will never achieve your greatest potential if you keep giving in to distractions. This is about cutting the noise, clearing your mental space, and getting locked in on the one thing that matters most to you, your purpose. You have a calling, something bigger than just getting through the day, something that's meant for you and only you to fulfill. But distractions, they cloud your vision, they steal your time, they keep you from showing up as your best self. And if you keep allowing them to control your life, you'll never get where you truly want to go. So let's be clear, distractions are the enemy. They will make you feel busy without actually achieving anything. They will trick you into thinking that you're making progress when, in reality, you're just wasting precious time. Your mind is a weapon, and if you let it wander without purpose, it becomes a battlefield of unimportant thoughts, unnecessary worries, and trivial tasks. That's not how you're supposed to live. The good news is, you have the power to take control. You can cut through the noise and stay focused. But first, you need to recognize that distractions aren't just external, they're also internal. The thoughts, habits, and fears that distract you from your true purpose are often the hardest to overcome because they come from within. But once you can identify these distractions, you can take steps to eliminate them. Start by asking yourself a simple but powerful question. What is your purpose? What is the thing that when you wake up every morning drives you to move forward? Because if you don't know what that is, distractions will continue to find their way in. They'll take advantage of your uncertainty, filling your day with meaningless tasks, thoughts, and activities. But once you know your purpose, once you are crystal clear on what it is, you'll find that distractions have less power over you. Your purpose is your compass. It tells you where to go, what to do, and how to prioritize your time. Without it, you'll constantly be chasing after things that don't matter, running in circles, and making no progress. But when you focus on your purpose, everything else falls into place. You begin to make decisions that align with your highest goals. You start cutting out anything that doesn't move you closer to your vision. And that's where true focus begins. Now let's talk about what happens when you cut distractions. First, you gain clarity. Every time you stop engaging with something that doesn't serve your purpose, you free up space in your mind. You clear away the clutter, and in that space your true purpose becomes more obvious, more urgent. You can see it clearly, and once you see it, you can act on it. When distractions are removed, you unlock a level of productivity that you didn't think was possible. You start to move with purpose. Every action you take is intentional. Every decision is made with your ultimate goal in mind, and it's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. It's about saying no to things that don't matter, so you can say yes to the things that will move you forward. One of the most powerful things you can do for yourself is learn to guard your time fiercely. Time is your most valuable asset. Once it's gone, you can't get it back. And every time you give in to distractions, you're allowing your time to slip away from you. Time spent on meaningless activities is time that could have been spent pursuing your purpose. Don't waste it. Don't let distractions steal from you what you can never get back. And here's where it gets even more interesting. When you start cutting distractions, you also start cutting out negative influences in your life. Distractions often come in the form of people, social media, or situations that drain your energy or shift your focus. These people may mean well, but if they are not helping you grow, if they are not pushing you toward your purpose, then they are holding you back. And just like with external distractions, you need to identify these energy-draining influences and remove them from your life. Cutting distractions means having the courage to say no. It means having the discipline to turn down things that seem attractive but don't align with your goals. It's not about being rude or selfish. It's about respecting your own time, your own purpose. You have a finite amount of energy and focus, and you cannot afford to waste it on things that don't matter. It's easy to get caught up in the habits of daily life. We get distracted by small, seemingly harmless things, checking social media just for a minute, watching one more episode of a TV show, or engaging in conversations that don't push us forward. But these distractions add up. They steal your time and energy in ways you don't even realize. And before you know it, you've spent an hour or two or more doing nothing that moves you closer to your goals. Now ask yourself, what would happen if you spent that same hour on something that directly contributed to your purpose? What if, instead of scrolling through your phone, you spent that time working on the project that matters most to you? What if you used that hour to improve yourself, learn something new, or take a step closer to your dreams? Imagine how much more you'd accomplish, how much more progress you'd make if you started locking in on your purpose and cutting out distractions. The reality is, distractions are not just the things that take up your time, they're also the things that keep you from doing your best work. They lower your standards. They make you feel like you're accomplishing something when, in fact, you're just spinning your wheels. And this doesn't just apply to your work, it applies to every area of your life, your health, your relationships, your finances, and your personal growth. Think about it. When you're distracted, you're not fully present, you're not fully engaged, you're not giving your best. And that's why cutting distractions is such a game changer. When you eliminate the things that don't matter, you free up mental and emotional energy to focus on the things that do. You begin to show up as the best version of yourself, and the results speak for themselves. So how do you actually start cutting distractions and staying locked on your purpose? It begins with awareness. You need to take a hard look at your habits, your routines, and your environment. Identify the things that are pulling you away from your focus. Are you spending too much time on social media? Are you constantly checking your phone? Are you allowing other people's problems to distract you from your own goals? Once you identify these distractions, it's time to take action. Start by setting boundaries. Create clear guidelines for how you'll spend your time and stick to them. Protect your time as if it were your most valuable asset, because it is. Schedule time to focus, time to work, and time to recharge. And when distractions show up, have the courage to say no. Another powerful tool is to eliminate digital distractions. The world has become incredibly noisy, and it's all too easy to get sucked into the vortex of endless notifications, messages, and emails. Set up systems that protect your time and attention. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Set designated times for checking email or social media. Be intentional about your digital consumption. Every moment you spend scrolling through irrelevant content is a moment you're not spending working toward your goals. And lastly, stay committed to your purpose. Keep it at the forefront of your mind every day. Remind yourself why you're doing what you're doing. When you keep your purpose clear and present, distractions lose their power. You'll find that it becomes easier to say no, easier to focus, and easier to stay on track. Cutting distractions and staying locked on your purpose is a lifelong practice. It requires discipline, awareness, and constant effort, but the rewards are limitless. When you take control of your focus and eliminate what doesn't serve you, you open up the possibility for incredible growth, progress, and success. Your purpose becomes the anchor that holds you steady, no matter how chaotic the world around you may be. And with every day that you stay locked in, you're one step closer to living the life you were meant to live.